Welcome to the Mason Miller Show. Tonight we're joined by the 1982 Villa Grove high jump champion, as well as one of the owners of No Bad Days Farm, Kenny Schwengel. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Clay Miller. Kenny, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, thank you. That's probably one of the best introductions I've ever had.
So you were the 1982, still the champion of Villa Grove.
Record holder.
I've heard.
Record holder, yeah. I went to state meet a couple times, but never placed.
But you got the record. That's all that matters.
I've got the record, yeah.
Still.
So you can get into the finest restaurants in Villa Grove just with a phone call.
Surprisingly, that doesn't carry a lot of weight.
Well, it's getting ready to be one of your busiest times of the year with the farm. And how much has it changed since first year you started to now?
Well, it's changed considerably. We started out with a little bitty portable type barn, and we had some tents up until the weather took the tents down, and we decided to graduate to a bigger barn. And little by little, we've gotten larger and sold a couple hundred trees the first year, and a little over 300 the second year, and hope to do the same this year.
This is the third year already?
Yeah.
Of course, I was thinking it was the second. Wow.
Yeah.
When does the season begin? When is your opening day?
Our opening day will be Saturday, November 20th.
That's coming up right around the corner.
Pretty quick.
So you're all set. What do you have to go pick up the trees from somewhere, or do you have them delivered?
Little of both. We share a semi with the gentleman from Charleston who picks up trees in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So we go over and share that semi load, and then we also get some trees from Michigan. And the Michigan trees we have to go pick up ourselves. So we'll take a pickup truck and a trailer. And this year we're taking 2 pickups and 2 trailers. And we also get some trees from down south of St. Elmo.
So does it just depend on the kind of tree that it is, where you can get it from, whether it comes from Michigan or North Carolina?
They're all basically the same trees. They're all Fraser fir trees, but it's just difficult getting trees.
Mm-hmm.
So
has it been more difficult this year getting trees?
yes, much more difficult.
Really?
We had a couple hundred trees ordered from North Carolina with the gentleman from Charleston, and just a few weeks ago indicated that the order was going to be cut by 40%. So then we're scrambling around trying to make up the difference as best we can.
Why is that?
I think a little bit that there were too many trees at one time, so I think they planted fewer trees, and then also a lot of big box companies have come out and bought trees. We've been to Michigan, we've been to North Carolina, and little trees, that may be an inch or 2 tall are already sold. So they found people that will buy these trees that early, and then the small people like us, have trouble, scramble.
I wonder if it's like a swing where it kind of went from, everybody had real trees kind of growing up, and then a lot of people went to artificial trees. I wonder if it's swinging back to real trees, or if there's just less people in the industry now. So
I think it's harder to find trees. There's a lot of people that call and want to cut their own tree down.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's what we used to do.
Right.
But it's harder to find those places.
Right.
And I think people enjoy the experience of being outside. It seems to be a lot more fun to go to a farm and find a tree, whether it's cut down already or not, than just go to your department store and buy a tree.
Definitely is a different experience going to a farm and getting a tree.
Yeah.
Used to go to Ken Haney's all the time when I was little. Just point to the tree you wanted.
Yeah. We used to, as a family, load up in the old 79 Ford and drive out there, all 5 of us.
Yeah, back then.
We got out there one time and realized we forgot a saw.
Right.
But,
You're like Clark Griswold.
Yeah, pretty close.
Tear it down with your bare hands.
Right. Brought it home with the roots and all.
Yeah.
So how would the Christmas season compare to your fall season? Because I know you started to do more in the fall now than you usually have.
The pumpkin and mum season.
The fall, we just try to focus on one day, and then we bring in vendors, all types of vendors. And it's just a one-day deal, so it's one and done. Christmas season goes on at least 3 weeks, sometimes 4. So it's...
And you got to get out there early to get your tree, especially opening day, because you guys sell out pretty quick.
Last year was just kind of a madhouse. It caught us all off guard a little bit, but I think COVID and so forth played a little bit into that. A lot more people came out than what we anticipated.
Mm-hmm. So when you originally started this farm, did you envision it getting kind of to this point and or beyond, or was it just something to kind of tinker around with, or did you have a plan?
No, we didn't have a plan.
Yeah. Just thought, you know what?
I'm not sure we
roll the dice.
Yeah. I'm not sure we envisioned selling 300 trees. I We got most of our equipment from Brad Tucker's Tree Farm over in Mattoon, and he always talked about selling 700-800 trees. And we thought, well, we'll just start out and maybe sell 100 or 200 trees, something like that. And little by little, it's taken off. But we also didn't realize there was going to be a tree shortage. And of course, with the tree shortage comes higher wholesale prices on trees. So it's been a bit of a challenge. But as far as a plan, I'm not sure we really had a plan.
Right. Well, they had a really serious setup over there. That's where we went. The last 4 or 5 years, but before they went out, and it got to the point when they said they were going to be done, and we didn't really realize you guys were getting into it. That I think we started thinking, well, where are you even going to get a tree anymore? Yeah. That it will, unless you go to a box store and it's one that has been cut for a month,
Yeah. So. Now, we originally, I think when we moved here, we got our trees from Pfeiffer's Tree Farm, which is out northwest of town, I think.
And you could go cut yours out there, right? Yeah.
Yep. And they had a real nice setup, and then it was Ken Haney's, and then I think Gilmore's over on the Bruce Finley Road.
That's where we went.
Yeah, and then Brad Tucker started up.
Just kept having to move a little further, down the road.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's always been something we wanted to do. And when Brad said he was retiring, it seemed like the time to do it, I guess.
So do you take your tree first, or do you get a tree last?
Last 2 years, the 2 years we've been doing this, I've gotten in trouble each year because we usually take what's left.
Yeah, you got the Snoopy
Really?
tree. Yeah. Of course, you're so exhausted by the end, you're like, whatever.
That's right. That's about the last thing I want to do is move a tree into the house.
I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, who helps you out on the farm?
It's family, basically. It's Stephanie and I, and then it's the girls, Alex and Daly, and then their husbands, Ryan and Caleb. And hopefully they'll keep having kids, so we'll have some
more
help.
employees.
Yeah, have some
Free labor.
And so it's pretty much a family affair as best we can. We have a neighbor, Drennan, and he comes and helps us quite a bit. And there's a lot of things we probably couldn't get done if it wasn't for him.
Right.
And then every now and then people will help out. A lot of people have contributed one way or another to help make it successful.
What do you enjoy most about having the tree farm and being around it all the time?
I think it's probably just being together as a family and spending that time together.
It's neat to go out there and see all you guys out there, and now with your grandson running around and that sort of thing. Stuff they'll remember forever. And you guys do more than trees, right, this year?
Yeah, we do wreaths and roping and what else do we do? T-shirts, hats. We always try to have a new ornament each year. And
do you still do the No Bad Days official coffee?
Yeah, we still have coffee. It's been pretty popular, and that's kind of in conjunction with Alliance Coffee out of Mattoon, and he's been real good to work with, and I think people have enjoyed that.
Good. Yeah, that's neat. It's I remember a couple of years ago when you started that I had no idea that you could do that, something like that this close, but to have your own.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I think it's turned out real well.
Has it ever felt like a job, or has it always been like a hobby?
Has it ever felt like
a hobby?
I'm still waiting for it to feel like a hobby.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I've officially retired, but it seems like now there's always something to do. I think when I first started, I realized I had days off that I could sit and watch movies. And I think I told Stephanie a while back, it's like, man, I haven't watched a movie like in months. So the hobby's become a job, but it's a job that we love.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that makes it better than takes the stress off of you and everything like that.
Yeah.
So when you're done with the Christmas, the whole thing, then do you just, there's not much to do, right, until spring kicks around, or what do you do anything with the farm as far as preparation?
It's just, it seems like there's always a transition, just like from the fall day with the pumpkins and mums and the way we set up for that. It's a similar setup, but there's a transition to get ready for Christmas trees. Like we just finished putting in about 300 fence posts yesterday to get ready for the trees to come. But then after Christmas, then it's just taking things down and trying to find a place to store things.
Right.
How long does it take to do that?
Depends on how many of your family members show up.
Yeah, it depends on if we get any help. It's amazing how much things go faster when we have help. I hope the girls are listening.
It's sad when you're sitting there sipping coffee in the barn watching Stephanie pound all those fence posts, isn't it, by herself?
Right. Yeah, that didn't go very long. That's when we realized we could do it with the bucket of the tractor, and then it was no more pounding.
Oh, yeah.
With the driver. But No, after we get rid of the Christmas trees and move on after that, then we're kind of preparing for spring and what we're going to plant in the garden and how we're going to prepare the garden and markets, and if we're going to go to markets or host markets. And
It's crazy to me, even though it's the third year of how much it's already grown.
Yeah.
It seems like there's more and more people every year going out to get a tree. And
Yeah.
now in the fall time, there's even more people, I notice.
Yeah, I think people just enjoy getting outdoors, and with some of the COVID issues, I think that's just made it that much more that they want to get outside and enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, I agree. Last year, I think, especially when it was a place that people could go and kind of be around people, but be around people, safely and all that kind of stuff. So I think your timing was great. It's I'm a little scared for you what this place may be in another 3 years for you.
Well, we'll likely have more employees.
If it keeps growing
Hopefully by
like this.
Or I'll be officially retired.
Right. You're going to have little grandkids walking around with clipboards and badges at 4 years old.
We're going to take our first quick break, and we'll be right back. If you're feeling thirsty, the Mason Miller Show has the sodas for you. Go check it out with all new flavors coming this week. This will be made available for purchase at Jake's Antiques and Joe's Pizza right here in town. And don't forget to stop in at Joe's and buy a gift certificate for Christmas. Welcome back to the Mason Miller Show. We're still joined by Kenny Schwengel, and we're going to try our first soda, the Frostie root beer, which he picked out himself because of the Santa on the mug.
Just had Santa on there, yeah.
Trying to get in the festive, no bad days, Christmas spirit.
That's a root beer.
That's good. That's good stuff.
That's good.
That is just a good traditional root beer. That's one of my. There's no.
That might be the
no
best.
cherry, no grape. It's just traditional root beer. I like it. And you throw Santa on the
That's right.
bottle.
Ties it all
Can't go
together.
wrong with that.
Maybe we needed to know bad days.
Right. We need a custom label. Wonder who could make a custom label.
Do we know anybody?
Yeah. It says no
Think
bad
about it.
days. Yeah.
That might be the best root beer we've done on the show yet.
It is good.
So Kenny's a good
pick.
luck charm.
Not only does he hold the record in the high jump at Villa Grove for high jump of
That's
66
two records.
inches,
I know
yes.
my root beer.
He's a connoisseur of the root beer.
Well, speaking of Villa Grove, I'm assuming
was?
that's where you grew up.
Yes, it is.
Nope,
What was
he
it
just
like?
jumped in there and high jumped one day and got out.
What was it like being a young boy in Villa Grove?
Well, there wasn't a lot to do in Villa Grove.
What's
It's
the
just a small
population?
town. There was probably 2,600 at the time.
Oh, really?
Something like that.
Okay.
We had 300 in the high school. And graduated in 1982, and I had 82
The same year
kids
that
in my
you
class.
Did you really? Nice. Easy way to remember that,
That's
huh?
right. That's right.
What other sports did you play, Kenny? Did you dominate?
Well, small school, you do everything.
Right.
So I played football and basketball and baseball and track.
You name it, he did it.
Does Villa Grove, do they go together with somebody?
They co-op with Heritage, which used to be ABL,
Okay.
Broadlands.
Okay. So what position did you play in football?
Quarterback, defensive back.
All right.
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
I had a sister, Lori. I have a sister, Lori. So she was older. She was a senior when I was a freshman. So that actually saved me from some of the senior boys because
Right.
of my sister. So
Yeah. It's like, she'll let them pick on you to a point,
right.
right?
To a little,
Yeah.
if she was mad at me, it went a little further.
Right. Right. So, how was your football team in high school?
My senior year, we finished 7-2. We got beat by Arcola, which is a perennial powerhouse, which that was, I think, their first year back in the conference. And then we also got beat by Pena, who we should have never played in the first place. And always struggled with Pena since. But anyway, we were 7-2. And that's back when, you had to win the conference basically to get into the playoffs.
Right.
So we didn't make the playoffs.
Right. Interesting. Which was your favorite sport?
Probably football, basketball.
What position did you play in basketball?
I was more of a guard. Like to shoot.
You could
Did they have
probably
did they have-
rebound with those high jump hops, though, can you?
Yeah, I
Did you throw one down?
Okay. Only in practice.
But you could dunk probably pretty easily, couldn't you? If you could high jump 6'6".
Only in practice.
Were you the 2-point shooting champion, or did they have a 3-point line yet in
No,
1982?
no 3-point line. I think we still had the fan backboards.
Oh yeah, with no breakaway rims, you would have
right.
shattered that baby.
That's
wouldn't
right.
you?
But you used to play a little basketball against your dad. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was.
I think that's the last time I was in your basement. After we started playing basketball, he never invited me back because I think I beat him up too bad.
Probably
Probably
I'm
right.
out of friends. There's nobody that comes over because every time I play, I lose. So I'm like, yeah. First time I remember Kenny was. I mean, maybe I saw you before that, but I remember we were playing open gym, and it was at Moulton one night, and I remember thinking, man, who is that guy? I don't know who that is. And somebody said, oh, he's the new principal for high school, and I was like,
Wait, what year did you
I
become
don't know
principal?
what year.
94, I think. 94.
Yeah, so I would have been home from college, or maybe it was. I don't know why I was out there playing, but I remember thinking, who is that? And they said, oh, it's a new principal. And I thought, principal? How old? I just thought you were a college guy, a friend of somebody's there. And
You don't think that anymore?
well, then I talked to you, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And you're like, oh, Kenny Schwengel or whatever. I'm like, oh, welcome to Shelbyville. I said, are you married? And you're like, yeah, I'm married and have 3 kids. I was like, what? So, which goes to Curtis's thing of boy principal. You don't age, which is unbelievable. So you always have looked younger than
Bob Hurtis, there's a challenge.
I understand you had
Yes.
a couple of run-ins with Coach Hurtis.
As a principal, he was,
Your nightmare.
Him as a teacher, he was a challenge, yes. But no, we always had a good relationship, and I think a mutual respect, but it was always interesting.
well, yeah, he thinks the world of you. But the funny thing, he always tells that story that he told when he was on here about
Going in the
teacher's
teacher's
lounge.
Yeah.
Growling at a sub.
growling at a sub, and then you have to come down there and first year principal or whatever,
Yeah.
and have to go to the seasoned old grizzled vet, and he says, well, yep, that was me. And then he goes, his favorite line is, well, I'll go apologize. And you say, no, you don't go near.
No, let's just leave it at that, and I'll tell her you're sorry.
Yes, you're done. You're banned from the lounge.
I'll
for
do
the
it
day.
for you.
Yeah, he took it pretty easy on me, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, but he always said, even to this day, he'll be like, Kenny Schwengel, boy principal. Because the kid looked like he should have been one of my students, and he was my boss.
Yeah, but he's a good guy.
He is.
What were some of your favorite memories of growing up in Villa Grove?
Probably just like most kids in small towns, you just hang out with your friends. I mean, everything in a small town was centered around the high school and athletics, and we all hung out at the pizza place, which was the Pizza Man, which was run by Mark Shanks and his dad.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so Mark
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Mark was a year older than me in high school, and his parents ran the Pizza Man pizza place. It used to be called the Blue Devil Inn, and then they went to the franchise Pizza Man, and
Oh.
Mark can tell you about their history. But
That's interesting.
anyway, that was the hangout spot for all the high school kids. So
Really?
we had one at Main Street, and at the end of Main Street was a kind of a U-turn that everybody did, and you went back the other way and drove around town and played loud music, and
Right.
What was your first car when you turned 16?
it was a 78 Mercury Cougar, I think. So it was red and had white interior.
It's out.
It was a pretty neat little car.
So
That's
what
pretty
did your parents do?
My mom worked at Carl Clinic in Champaign. My dad was a farmer and a truck driver.
Okay.
So I grew up most of the time on a farm south of Villa Grove, a little area called Hugo. It's kind of like a Middlesworth, only
Right. Only over there.
there.
Did is that how you made your money and stuff? Was working on a farm, or did you have another job that you did in high school?
Me personally,
Mm-hmm.
no, I was in sports.
Yeah,
That was your job.
nonsense.
No,
School and sports.
we raised hogs, and so I helped my dad with the
Right.
hogs and so forth. But I was fortunate enough that practice came first, and
Mm-hmm.
that may have been why I did 4 sports, so I never had to go do the hogs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can remember being out in the bean field cutting beans my freshman year and praying for football to start because I would rather go do 2-a-days with
Yeah.
Wolverton than be out in that field. So
Yeah.
that was the savior for all the farm kids was sports.
What was family life like?
Back then,
Way back then.
way back then, just like everybody else in rural Illinois, we all ate dinner together. And I never got up early enough for my dad, but they'd go to our ball games. They supported us at school, and my sister didn't participate in sports and so forth, but we were all there as a family.
Did you go on family vacations, or a lot of farmers didn't do that because they were busy working all the time?
We took one trip to Washington, D.C. that I remember that was an extended trip. But other than that, we'd go to St. Louis, go to Six Flags, and go to a Cardinal ball game and those types of things. And he used to take me to Illinois games or,
pretty much regionally.
Standard stuff, yeah.
Me too. I thought the world ended. I thought the United States ended at Kansas City. I didn't know there's anything past that until I was 20 years old.
And you used to swear that there was a passage that was shorter to Kansas City.
I wish there was.
Yeah, just fly.
Yeah. Well, when you're 5.5 hour drivers, back then it was 55 before they raised it back up, So 7-hour drive to Kansas City to a 10-year-old kid seems like a 25-hour drive.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned the Cardinals. It's nice to have another Cardinals fan on the show because lately we've had a lot of Cubs fans.
We have had a rash of Cubs fans.
And it's very unfortunate. They're all addicted to losing, but that's their own problem.
Yeah, we'll try to point that out as often as we can, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Never let up.
They're still hanging on that one World Series championship for the last 100+ years.
We asked Chief Brackbill. He's asked me, when's the last time you won a World Series? I said, 2011. I said, when's the last time? He said, 2016. So I'm like, when's the last time before that? He said, 06. I said, yeah,
1906. He's a pretty good guy other than being a Cub fan.
That's his one downfall.
It is. It's
Major
a shortcoming
downfall.
that we've tried to recruit, but he won't have anything to do with it. He's staying on the dark side.
Yeah, yeah.
So all in all, you enjoyed your time in Villa Grove.
Yeah, it was a good place to grow up, and great friends and people I still stay in contact with. And my high school best friend, we probably talk every week still.
Really?
Been out of school for 40 years.
Yeah.
And you still have the record for high jump.
Supposedly. Rumor has it.
Did you hurt your back when you landed on the hay bales and stuff?
It was almost as bad as hay bales. There was a small factory in Camargo, which was south of Villa Grove, and they made like life jackets out of foam. So we had like a nylon circle, and they'd take the old leftover foam from the life jackets, and they'd throw a nylon net over it, and that's what we had to land on.
Wow. So did you do the old...
the Western roll?
Or the Fosbury, or were you the Fosbury flop guy?
I was the Fosbury flop guy.
So that was innovative, though, right? Back in '82, or was everybody doing that at that point?
I think that everybody was doing it then.
When was it? The late '70s when they started?
I don't know. I'm not that old.
So you're talking about the way you land?
Well, yeah, before.
The way you roll over the bar.
Oh, okay.
So they used to, the Western roll, you go over on your stomach and you roll over the bar.
Well, I'm pretty sure we have a picture of it. We could probably pull it up later.
That's probably okay.
Yeah, Kenny with the socks jacked up and the hair flowing.
The Converse on.
Oh yeah. Do you think you had a cigarette dangling before he took off and then flipped it and took off? It'd be like out of grease or something.
Freshman, here, hold this.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Let me go win this thing first. You just pass all the way till the end and you go win it.
I'm gonna go get this record real quick. I'll be right back.
Right. Oh, that's funny. So then we went to, where did you go to school? Go to college?
I started at Parkland, and I went there because I thought I was going to be a basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, the coach there, Tom Cooper, was doing a lot of what do you call them, conferences or workshops or what? I don't know what they're called anymore. But different towns. We go to Kansas City, we go to St. Louis, we go to Chicago, and
for the kids or coaches?
For coaches.
Okay.
So the players went along just to display,
Right. You were doing the passing and cutting and stuff while he told everybody what you were doing.
All that, and we did that all summer long before my freshman year, basically. And
that's a good thing for freshmen to be a part of right there.
Yeah, it's a good experience. I learned a lot, but I was at that point, I think I was just kind of burnt out on basketball.
Yeah.
So that was it for me, basketball. But I did high jump there one season. And
did you dominate at Parkland too?
No.
6'6" though. That is.
It was fun. We got to jump at the Armory at the U of I, so we got to jump with the U of I high jumpers. So that was kind of neat. But
so you weren't landing in old.
No, they actually had these things called porta pits.
Yeah, porta pits.
Porta pits. So you weren't landing in old life jackets.
No.
Well, I have a my dad's uncle, my great uncle, claims to have the record for high jump in Kansas City at his high school. But my dad always jokes and said he's probably the first person to ever attempt it. So I don't understand.
Yeah, he doesn't have it. He said he had it.
Said he
And
had it.
That's why I was like, yeah, right. Because you were probably the first one that ever jumped, and you had it for 10
Had it
minutes
for a
till the
while.
next guy went.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Then after Parkland, then I went to Eastern, and that's where I graduated from in elementary education.
elementary ed, really?
Yeah. So I taught a year at Atwood Hammond in 4th grade, and that was the year that I met my wife. And then after that first year, then I moved to Tuscola and taught 6th grade for, I don't remember how many years.
Was she one of your students?
No.
Did you like
She
teaching?
is younger, but no.
Right. Not
Did you
that
like
much younger.
teaching 6th grade? Was
Yeah,
that
I did.
your
Yeah, I
style or?
Yeah, I like 6th grade was different than 4th grade. 6th grade kids seem to get your jokes.
Yeah, right.
4th graders sometimes just kind of look at you.
Now, what about the difference between, do you like 6th grade more or high school? Or what was the in between? Did you go straight from 6th grade to high school, or where did you go?
No, after 6th grade, then I became a principal.
Okay.
So, but I like the 6th grade kids. That's just a fun age. You know, that's when they're kind of coming in their own a little bit. And like I said, they get your jokes, and they have different interests.
But they haven't come too far into.
That's
they
right.
haven't got to
They're still a little innocent.
Got a little fear there, a little respect.
Yeah.
But no, I did. After that, then I took an assistant principal's job at Petersburg Porta, out by Springfield,
How long did that last?
2 years, and then I applied for the position in Shelbyville.
Really?
That's how I ended up here.
And that would have been in 94, you said?
Right around that time.
Okay.
I'd actually applied for the position at Sullivan, and Stu Hott got that job. So then applied to Shelbyville and got that job.
So we may never have known the boy principal.
That's right.
Destiny.
Yep, how it worked out.
He was meant to come to Shelbyville.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Good.
right.
We're going to take our next break, and we'll be right back.
You think you're going to put a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you.
If you're looking to get into the Christmas spirit, then Triton Tees has the shirt for you. With the new Christmas Vacation Griswold shirts we made available to purchase at Jake's Antiques. Go check it out and buy one before they run out. Welcome back to the Mason Miller Show. We're still joined with Kenny Schwengel, and we're going to try our second soda, the Kickapoo Joy Juice, which just by reading the label, it kind of struck Kenny, so
It has to be good.
has to be. Let's dive on in.
Bring joy to all of us. It's not bad.
I like it.
I do
was-
like it.
That was Mountain Dew before Mountain Dew was Mountain Dew.
Yeah, it's more subtle than I
And
expected.
Probably not as much in it as Mountain Dew.
That's not bad. It is a little. It's Mountain Dew light.
New favorite.
Kind of like it.
2 in a row.
Now the root beer with the Santa on it, Frostie. I like it for this season.
Right.
The spring, I could see myself enjoying one of these.
Kickapoo Joy Juice.
Yeah, taking a little Kickapoo Joy Juice with me out on the lake.
Kickapoo. Just a fun word to say.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny, when did the romance begin? When did you meet your wife?
Well, I was teaching 4th grade in Atwood, and I think it was the weekend, and I'm a very clean person. I was living in an apartment there in Atwood, so I went to the grocery store to buy cleaning supplies, and I think it was cleaning supplies, or was it beer? It was a Sunday.
the night before.
It was a Sunday, so they didn't sell beer.
4th grade's getting to him.
So then I picked up some cleaning supplies, I think, and she was the checkout girl. So
Really?
that's when we first met. So
What was your first conversation?
Well, hang on. Before that, so we got to go back here. She's the checkout girl. You're in your first year of teaching,
Yes,
so you would have been
22.
21, 22. And what was Stephanie was in high school?
18. No, she was out of high school.
Oh, you were clarify that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was she doing at the time?
Well, she'd been going to school, but then working at the grocery store part time,
Okay.
and she was the checkout girl, and I checked her out. So
So I think it's ironic that you said your mom worked for Carl forever, and that's what Stephanie's done, right?
yeah, working in the hospital. Yeah,
Or she's Sarah Bush, though, right?
yeah. Stephanie's at Sarah
Right.
Bush.
Right.
Right. Yeah,
Oh.
but that's how it all started.
Was it love at first sight?
For Stephanie?
I think she loved me when she saw me.
I mean, that's a long line
think-
of people, probably, though. Wasn't it, Kenny?
I think she had a boyfriend at the time, because she did come over to see me at the apartment, and one time she left, and I
Didn't have a boyfriend for long.
looked down, and there was a class ring, and it wasn't mine. So I think she had taken that off and put it in her pocket, and it fell out on my couch. But,
already trust issues
wow.
right out
That's
of the
right. That's
gate.
right. So anyway, but that's where it all started. And
Did she know that you were the school record holder for
high jump record? Yeah, I think she did. I think
If you
that's
probably
what-
would have let off with that,
Yeah.
she probably would have been like that.
Surprisingly, that never worked anywhere.
I don't know. If we talk about it enough here, I think it could open up a whole new, all kinds of avenues. There's probably you better get 1,000
I
Christmas
think
trees.
I need fewer avenues, not more avenues.
Exactly. So you guys started dating. How
Yeah.
long did you date before you proposed? How long did you date before Stephanie proposed?
Probably a year, something like that, about a year. So I started there in 86, and we ended up getting married in 88. So I remember that, July 9th, 1988. So there should be points for that.
Good for you.
I know just Clay didn't throw anything out there.
I got mine are easy. April 4th, April 8th. One's the birthday, one's the anniversary. I just
Okay.
got to remember which one's which.
So how long after you got married did you have kids?
Probably about 4 years. 91, I think, is when Alex was born. 3 years. 92 is when Daly was born, and Tucker was born in 95.
Sitting in the background,
Yeah.
flashing him
Getting
all
all
the
kinds of
dates.
hand signals.
Right.
Sometimes they're not good.
It's hard to keep up.
Might be a lecture on the way home. I don't know. So 4 years. What'd you guys do during those 4 years? I mean, did you
Work.
travel around or
I was
just
a teacher, so
trying to
I
survive?
didn't make much money, and I managed the swimming pool there at Tuscola in the summers. And Stephanie was working, and she was going to school to be a nurse, and so we saw each other now and then.
You had to be a blast to work for at the pool in the summer as a
yeah.
lifeguard.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, come on. I wish you were my principal so bad.
I don't know about that. I guess we'll edit that one out before he graduates.
Maybe. I guess along the line somewhere I would have liked to have Kenny as a teacher.
Well, I'm not sure he's a very good teacher, but we always had fun.
Well, I never had him as anything, but I know that once I graduated and came from college and came back here, it was awesome that he was the principal because we always had a key to get in for open gym back in those days because Kenny was always playing. So
Yeah.
it was good. Those were the great old days.
That was a lot of fun.
Steve Compton and Rothrock and Paul White and,
Yep.
and all that state champ group starting to
Speaking
come up.
Of Ken Haney.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You'd pick teams, you go out there and you get ready to play, and then everybody was matching up and who was going to guard who.
Ugh.
And I would always hide behind somebody taller, Paul White or somebody, so Ken Haney didn't see me because,
Brutal.
oh my gosh,
Beat you to death.
could he play defense?
Yeah, he'd come out there every once in a while, and he'd wear like old jogging shoes and
Yeah.
come out and just pulverize somebody. Yeah, I remember thinking, I don't want anything. No way am I driving down the lane with that guy down there.
No, those are good days.
They were a lot of fun.
How much did life change after having kids?
A little bit.
Since you were married for a while before you had kids.
Yeah. Now, being a high school principal, and especially when I came to Shelbyville, they were having so much success with basketball. And the football team was pretty good, too. So we were going to football games, we were going to basketball games, home and away. So we were dragging the kids just about everywhere we went. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, it kept us together because otherwise, if they didn't go with us, I wouldn't see them.
Right.
But I don't know how many, over the years. I've been in education for like 35 years, and I don't know how many homecomings and proms I've gone to.
Oh, I bet.
Countless.
I bet.
So anyway, that allowed us to do things together as a family with the football games and basketball games, and especially when the basketball team was so successful. I mean,
It had to have been an
what a great
exciting
time to
time.
be here. Yeah.
Yeah, your kids just grew up thinking that
You always
Shelbyville
win
was
state
great in every
championships.
sport. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
That would have been a fun time.
Yeah.
So how long were you principal, and then how many years, and then you stepped in as superintendent?
Yep. I was principal at Shelbyville for 8 years, and then had always had that desire to go to a bigger school, like a suburban type school or some larger school. So had an opportunity to go to Chatham Glenwood, and that was a immediate bump there. 1,300 kids.
Oh yeah.
And every class was over 300 kids there. And it was a good experience, but it wasn't as well received from the whole family when we made the move.
Didn't feel like home for them?
No, didn't feel like home. And I also knew it wasn't going to be a place that I was ever going to retire from. So I had the opportunity to come back and work at the regional office for really about a year and a half. And then I got a superintendent's job at Abbott Hammond. So I went back home to where I met Stephanie and where her family lived. And then I tore her high school down.
And then they started, as they started combining and coming together with Arthur Lovington.
Yeah, those were some tense times. So I didn't really tear it down, but I was the superintendent when it happened. And when we co-op or consolidated with Arthur, and it was the best thing at that time to tear the building down, but I still hear about it. And I don't still think when we drive by, I don't think Stephanie's looked that direction yet.
Yeah, she doesn't look your direction or that direction. Just steer straight ahead.
How much has the school system changed since you started? To I guess right now, because you're still.
Yeah, well, I'm doing an interim at Stu Strauss, kind of part time, but.
And you're in your third year of that, right?
Third and final. Yeah, this is it.
Are you sure it's your final?
I'm sure.
Final.
Stephanie's not so sure, but I'm sure. So
I don't know. What if at the end they're just like, you know what? Let's go one more year.
No, it's done.
You're gonna go from 3 jobs down to 2. You're gonna be the farmer of No Bad Days, and then the assistant farmer to Steve.
Yeah, the hired hand. Yeah.
Right.
He's ready to move on to his hobby.
That's
Christmas
right.
tree farm.
Full-time hobby, maybe. No, I think as far as schools, I think kids for the most part are still the same. I think teachers for the most part are the same, but it's just so many different regulations and so forth that come down from the state and the federal government that take a lot of the fun out of it. So, but kids are kids, and I don't think they've changed a whole lot.
Right. I think it's interesting how, whether it's education or really anything, that it seems to be we keep, as a country, everybody keeps pushing everything together where I think it stifles a lot of creativity for like the really good teachers. I think about a teacher like Mr. Rude, Tom Rude was around here, was an amazing teacher to so many kids. And I wonder if today would he have had the same
been able to take the chances that he took.
Yeah, leeway and have 3 different grades in one classroom and all that kind of thing and pull that off.
There are just so many outside pressures and so forth, like I said, from the state and from the federal government. And if you just have that local control that you need, you can do the things. We know what we need to do.
Tailored education.
Yeah.
A lot of that has probably changed just in the recent years, especially with all this going on.
Oh, absolutely. But I think we all know locally what's best for our kids and what the kids need, and just a lot of interference, unfortunately.
So when you're not working, do you have any hobbies?
Probably my one main hobby would be turkey hunting.
Yeah.
So my turkey hunt in the spring and have for a number of years, and that's about it really, though.
And Christmas trees.
And Christmas trees. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I think probably
mowing. I like mowing around trees. And
knowing you, I would imagine your hobby. Yeah, it's turkey hunting, but probably anything that's going on with the family. And I'm sure there's always something going on with your family on one side or the other, or the kids. Or
we try to have a family breakfast out at the barn. Not every Sunday, but about every other or every third Saturday or Sunday. We'll try to get together, and daily we'll whip up something on the griddle, and we'll all eat breakfast out there. So it's kind of fun.
If you get some extra, let me know. I'll be glad to stop by.
I'm sure Daly's a pretty good cook.
Yeah, she is. She is a very good cook.
Daly's a cook, huh?
Oh yeah, she loves to cook.
Interesting. What about Alex?
Oh, she's a good cook too. She's probably a better baker. Maybe she likes to bake things.
So she's a baker and then a cook. Is Stephanie a good
No. Yeah. Yeah. No. Stephanie's an excellent cook. I mean, I don't know how close the camera is. I mean, you can see me.
It's trying to find the time to do it, probably, right?
Yeah. Right. But no, she's a fantastic cook, and I think that's where the girls, they've learned from her. They learn from the best.
Right. Well, that's good. So, anything you would do differently back in your career if you go back professional wise?
Professional wise, I don't think so. I spent a semester when I was at Parkland in law enforcement and thought that I wanted to be in law enforcement and possibly state police. But after a semester of that, I realized that's not what I wanted to do. And that's when I chose education. And part of that was because of coaching. I thought I wanted to coach too. My first year at Atwood, I coached 4 sports. And then at Tuscola, I coached 3 sports. And but that's a tough profession there too.
That's a lot of work.
I don't think I'd want to coach now.
It's a lot alone to just coach one sport, let alone
It's a tremendous amount of work, and then, like you said, it's a lot of other things that go along with it that can drain you, I think.
Yeah.
So everybody in the stands is I talked about this a little bit with Coach Hurtis, and I think Chief Brackville too came up as, you're never going to agree with anyone. It didn't matter if Mike Krzyzewski is the coach, you're never going to agree with him 100%, but it's so much easier to stand there in the stands and think, oh, why didn't you do this? Why
second guess?
Go down there on the floor and take the reins for a game, and it's a whole different feeling.
Reminds me when I was helping coach JFL football, and I'd be on the sidelines, and all of a sudden I'd get text messages, and I'm sure you were part of that. I know Todd Cowan was part of that too, and all of a sudden it's like, give Jake the ball, or or run this play, or
doing it all.
Always had a lot of help.
Doing it all the time. Be sitting right next to Todd, and I'd be like, just kids are like in 5th grade. Just give the ball to Jake. I mean, it's all you had to do is a touchdown. He was so fast. Right? Yeah,
funny.
What was funny though is that you would actually look at it. No one else would. You would actually pull it out of your pocket and look at it, and then you'd give us a look over your shoulder, like, and we just bust out laughing.
I thought it was something important, but no.
It was extremely important. We had a bird's eye view. We were winning the game for you if you'd have just listened.
Coaching from the sideline.
That's right.
That was a good
happens
group,
everywhere.
It was a good group of kids. That crew was pretty good in about all their football, basketball, and baseball.
Yep, they had some talent.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty athletic grade.
Yeah, and good kids on top of that. So
we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back. Although it doesn't feel like it now, the holiday rush will soon be here. The Schwengel family of No Bad Days Farm here in Cheville are hard at work preparing to supply you with everything you'll need to create that fun, old-fashioned family Christmas. At No Bad Days Farm, you'll be able to purchase your tree and fresh wreaths as well as roping and evergreen bundles for decorating. Additionally, they'll have grave blankets, pillows, and candles. And while visiting, don't forget to pick up an ornament and check out their hats, shirts, and official No Bad Days custom crafted coffee. The Schwengel family will have the farm open beginning Saturday and Sunday, November 20th, the weekend before Thanksgiving from 9 to 5, and will continue each weekend while supplies last. They will also be open on Black Friday, and Santa and Mrs. Claus will be on the farm on Friday, December 3rd for the kids. So mark your calendar starting November 20th for a visit to No Bad Days Farm and join the Schwengel family to kick off the Christmas season. Welcome back to the Mason Miller Show. We're still joined with Kenny Schwengel, and we talk a little bit more about No Bad Days Farm and some of the stuff you guys are offering this year.
One new item we have this year is on Friday, December 3rd from 5 to 8, we're going to have Santa Claus out to the farm and Mrs. Claus. And I think
how did you get him? He's got to be.
You have to write him a letter?
It took a lot of work, and he's a busy man. But, you pull a few strings,
their people got in touch with his people. And
that's right.
Got
that's
a deal
right.
made.
So when is that?
December 3rd, Friday, December 3rd. It's kind of the first kind of night activity, I guess, from 5 to 8. So I think it'll be exciting. We got a couple vendors there, and we're going to have an elf. They'll hand out a gift for the small.
Is it a real elf?
I believe so.
Actually, Mason, we haven't told you this yet. But
we need to try on a uniform after this, okay?
Gosh, you don't want that.
But have a small gift for the kids and an opportunity to look at the wreaths and tabletop trees and so forth. And we'll also have a famous ice sculptor, Eric Kendall, I believe is his name, and he'll carve something I'm sure will be fantastic, and that'll be that evening as well. So we're looking forward to that.
I'm coming for that. I want to see a real live ice sculptor. Ever since Groundhog Day and Bill Murray, I want to see it done live.
I kind of want to order an ice sculpture of something, but I'm not sure yet of what.
It's tough to keep on the patio in the summer months.
We're going to have to buy a big freezer.
There you go.
Keep it in there.
There you go. But so yeah, that's our new event, I guess, for this year is December 3rd, Santa Claus. So bring your kids out.
Definitely. And so the tree kickoff to, if you want to come get your tree, is what's the first day and time?
We'll start Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on November 20th.
All right. So that's,
I'm sure people will be there right on the dot.
Yeah, maybe a little early. But yeah, we're looking forward to that and hoping for a great season. And the forecast at this point indicates that it's going to be fairly sunny and about 43. So
At least the sun will be out.
we don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, but that's what they claim.
exactly. It needs to be that weather. It needs to get down like that when you're going to get your Christmas
That's
tree.
right. That's right.
Because you don't want it to be 75.
Have that feeling that the Christmas is coming.
That's right. Get you in the mood.
So one last thing I wanted to bring up was your something I think is really interesting that you guys do is your meal that you guys have for folks that have lost loved ones or alone for the holidays or something like that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's something that Stephanie wanted to try, and we had tried it last year and provide a meal at noon on Christmas Day. And we had a family 10 last year, and it was nice. Our family and their family sat down, and Stephanie prepared all the food and had a real nice afternoon. And I think the people, the family appreciated it. They came from Decatur, Mount Zion area.
Wow.
So it was kind of nice, and hopefully we can expand it this year and have a few more people.
A few more families.
Yeah, it's one of those that you never really know. It's kind of maybe awkward for some people, but we try to make it welcoming and try to make it a nice event for families.
It's a good way for people to come together, especially during the holidays.
Where did the idea kind of come from? I mean, I think it's really interesting. I've never heard of anybody doing something like that, but just with random folks.
Yeah, I think we had a couple holidays, I guess, where it's been different for us, obviously. And we invited other people that maybe had, similar situations. And it just kind of led to, Stephanie came up with the idea and just thought it'd be a great opportunity for like people, I guess, that just, feel out of sorts.
Yeah.
And be willing to come and break bread and enjoy a good meal.
I don't want to go too much into it, but it is amazing how the holidays have to be an extremely difficult time for anyone who's lost someone, but it's amazing what you guys have done and how tight your family has stayed together through everything. And I think that farm probably is a great thing for you guys too, to all.
Yeah, it's been a real outlet for us. I think it's brought us closer together as a family.
Mm-hmm. And, it's funny when I asked you about, did you go on a lot of vacations as a kid and that sort of thing? And you said no, which most of us really didn't when we were little, but you and Stephanie have taken your kids to every state in the country, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's one of our big accomplishments. I think we feel like we accomplished was getting the kids to all 50 states. So,
I can remember when the kids were going through high school and all that stuff. It was like how many you were going to knock out on this trip, and so on and so. You guys were road warriors, but you have a lot of neat trips and great memories.
We probably could have filmed our own version of vacation a time or two.
I'm sure you could have, but no, you've got an amazing family, and you've had 3 great kids, and now they're spouses and grandkids and all that. And one story I do have to tell, which Todd Count and I still laugh about to this day, is there's so many of them, but when Tucker and Jake and that crew were in, I think it was 6th grade, and you called me and said, "Hey, would you want to coach their basketball team?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't think so. I've never coached kids that little or anything." And my Malcolm at the time was really little, and Mason was a baby. And yeah. And your famous words were, "Oh, just come on and help. We'll do most of it. And you just jump in with it." Well, first day I'm there, and nobody's even around to be seen. I didn't know Todd Count at all. He's standing over there, and ended up coaching that group of boys, and it was the best coaching experience I've ever had. And I always say it's so much easier to coach someone that's not, when your kid's not on the team.
Yeah.
But that was an awesome group of kids. But even after that, every year at Christmas time, for a few years before they got bigger and could drive and all that, we would, I was always off around Christmas. So Todd and I would take those boys, and we would go to pizza man one day in Pana and bowl and stuff.
Yep.
And
I remember doing that once.
right. Well, one time I remember, there's 3 or 4 boys packed in the back of his back seat, and Tucker was one of them. And the boys got talking about going to Springfield over break because they wanted to go. They just got to Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh.
And that was a big deal back then.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying anything online or any of that. These kids,
Right.
And I remember Todd's backing out, and somebody said, "You got to go clear to Springfield, though." And Tucker said, "Yeah, I wish they'd build one and show me. Like, we need like a little Dick's." I mean, we laughed for years after that. And still to this day, if I say, "Hey, Todd, we need a little Dick's," he'll die laughing. He knows exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure Tucker got a giggle out of that, too.
oh, that kid, yeah.
Oh, those guys! I looked up all those guys. I thought they were the coolest, especially whenever they all came over and they were babysitters.
Yeah. They
For
thought
me.
they were the coolest, too.
Yeah. It's terrifying that we would leave Brody and Jake and Tucker and them here with the kids to do something.
Oh man, that was a blast. And Daly too.
Yeah.
She was the best too.
Yeah. Well, no, you guys are definitely fortunate. I think it's great that you're doing that for folks, and we just appreciate you coming on, Kenny.
Well, I appreciate the time, the opportunity. Wasn't sure about it.
Still not sure
There's
about it.
probably a lot of things that need to be added.
No.
Oh no. Thanks for joining us, Kenny. It's pretty fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And don't forget, you can purchase all the soda that we try on the show at Jake's Antiques, and also a select few at Joe's Pizza in town. And that's it for tonight. We'll see you next time.